Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe, that's so important for me. Leave a comment if you can, if you don't it doesn't matter, either way I hope you get something from the video. This is just a little tutorial on Sidekick and Taekwondo. Alright, now sometimes Sidekick can be complicated and it looks quite difficult to do, and I'm just going to show you as a beginner how easy it is and how to drill it. So remember, always warm up, stretch to your level of flexibility, and just keep the kick nice and low. There's three different heights in Sidekick, alright? There's low section, mid section and high section. Alright, and now we will just work on the low section to middle. Alright, but if you don't have that range of flexibility, just keep it on low. Now our opponent can be different heights, so it makes the Sidekick a little bit different. But we can cover that in other videos. So all I like to do is make sure you've warmed up and you've stretched to your kind of level. Alright, it doesn't need to take long, 10 minutes, and some dynamic stretching if you can. And we'll just work on Sidekick. Now as a beginner in Taekwondo, we know that the Sidekick is very tricky to do and we sometimes don't develop it very well. So what I'd like to show you, and I'd just like you to drill, is put the leg at the front, alright, keep the Sidekick leg at the front, and that's the one we're going to drill just at the moment, and we'll keep our hands in the guard position. So it's very important as a beginner to keep your hands right about here. Doesn't matter if they move a little bit, but don't drop them. Don't take them out your line of sight, okay? And always looking at your opponent. At the moment I'm talking to you in the camera, but I may continue to do that because I want to kind of try to talk to you. So the Sidekick's important. We use the sword edge of the foot and the ball of the foot is slightly down, toes back. I don't want to start to talk about angles, degrees, weight ratios. It just is too much information and it only makes me try and sound important and I know stuff. It doesn't matter. All that matters is you want to learn the Sidekick of the leading leg or the back leg. Yeah, we'll cover both, and is the easiest way to do it. And so you have an opponent or your bag or someone holding a shield. Now he doesn't have any arms or legs and he can't kick back, but we need to practice the technique without things in the way. And once we've got that, then we can train for things that go wrong. The arms are coming out, the kick's coming out, the opponent moves, and then we move, and so on and so forth. So off the leading leg, I just want you to keep your hands here and lift up your knee around circular motion and sword edge and place it. You can place it there just to get the feel of it. The line that we want to practice is a horizontal line, alright? So we've got midsection. I would say this is probably low section here. This is a low section. Now you can see it, my leg's slightly lower, as long as I'm on umbilicus level, alright? So we'll lift it up a little bit and you can see the technique. So this is quite a strong technique, but it can go wrong. People can still come around it and counter it, and every technique in Taekwondo can be countered, blocked, and move around. It doesn't matter. But we switch to tactical sparring and different types of levels of sparring so that that can be double countered, if you like. But for basic level, we just want to get it right, just to understand it. So lift the leg up, kick, place it back down again. So I'll roll the knee around, just to make it simpler for you. I'll bring the knee around my body and through. Yeah? So I'm in an L stance, around and through. But note my hands, roughly the same position. This allows me still to box or to strike. Boxing sometimes is their only used terminology for Taekwondo. It's more of a striking technique, yeah? Boxing kind of makes you get in a bit close and have a different guard. Okay, but either way, doesn't matter. We lift up the leading leg, keep the guard here, and Sidekick in. So I'd like you just to drill off the leading leg, say like 50, alright? It's quite hard. If you can't do 50, do 25. It doesn't matter. Do it until you're a little bit tired. Now there shouldn't be much stretch on your standing leg, but it's your standing leg that gives you the flexibility on this kick. But we want to keep it simple. We want to roll the knee around. So if you watch again, I roll the knee around and then straighten it through. Okay, roll the knee around and straighten it through. That's the technique. Sidekick, Yopchagi. Okay, I'm just doing this technique about 50 times. I'm not going to do 50, but just to show you, alright, practice. Do both sides. Now, this is the sword edge, which you'll see from here, hopefully. Yeah. Difficult to kind of show you, but there you go. So the sword edge is like a cutting action. So if I take these hand pads off here, it's like a knife edge or a sword edge, alright? So it cuts through. So that makes the Sidekick very sharp. It's not a pushing technique. Okay, so that's what we use, and it's very good for sparring lightly. You don't have to spar hard with it. It doesn't need a lot of power, it just needs to be timed right. You see a lot of kicking in Taekwondo, a lot of power behind it, and that takes a long time to develop, alright? But we just work on very simple, lift the leg up and place it. Lift the leg up and place it. I'm placing it in realistic terms, I bring it back fast or just chase with it. However, we can just place it just so that we know it's going where we want it to go. I like to look where I want to put my foot. So where I look is where my foot's going to go. Yep, look in there, it's there. So that's the low section to mid section. We have three, low, middle and high, but when we spar, it's predominantly used in a middle section. But that can change to high depending on your opponent's ability. Really depends on yours also. Alright, so I'll show you the different heights just so that you understand them. So we've got low section, umbilicus level, middle section on the chest level, yeah. And then high section, I'll bring it a little bit closer, is head height. Okay, so practice these techniques if you want to, low, middle and high, but don't worry about the high level, it's not too practical in sparring, but more low to middle. Now if you move in closer to your opponent, again when we get here we're already in a kind of fight mode, we're using our hands, but I just want you to understand that if you are here and you're covered up, you can still use the side kick. It doesn't look like you can't, or it doesn't feel right. However, I rotate my body around, lift the knee up and do the same technique. It almost becomes like a back side kick. Roll, I'm still looking at my opponent. Always remember, look at your opponent at all times with all techniques. Any technique that you don't look at your opponent with, you haven't got your eyes on the target if you like, would be a warning. Alright, so always remember, always look at your opponent when you're striking. Alright, don't do a blind technique like this. Alright, so it wouldn't be very good because you don't know where they are and it can cause more of an injury. So we keep an eye on them, be nice and close, rotate away slightly, knee around. So now the knee's not really rotating, my leg's not rotating in a circular motion. To practice this one, it's more of a sharp sword edge if you like. It goes up here and through. So if you watch slowly, 1, 2. Whereas before, when I was a little bit on the 4 feet distance to 5 feet perhaps, around about that, I can roll it. More of a rolling movement, see? But when I'm in close, it's more sharp. I can't get to roll it, it wouldn't work. It's more sharper, there. And it feels like it's a backside kick, alright? Like so. So you can still use a side kick, close range, and then middle range, which is where you normally are. However, we can be outside the kicking range a lot, and that's where we just kind of gauging our opponent, and we would travel, we would slide, skip, or even jump. It doesn't matter if it works for you, you can try it. You know, it's amazing what we can do. So when we side kick from a distance, I'm not going to hit from here. I'm not going to be able to do anything from here. And a lot of the times, you know, action beats reaction. So we're outside that distance, he's going to react to that. But a lot of the times also my opponent's tired, or he's just at the corner of the ring, or he's not focused. You have time to travel, you have time to skip, you have time to fly. Alright, you have to gauge that, and also your speed and level. Alright, but just for beginners level, we can travel now. So what we want to do is try and keep this foot on the ground as much as we can, and just slide in, keeping it in contact with the ground. And if you watch, I'll try and do this as slow as I can, and I'll change the video angle so you can see what my foot is actually doing. But you can see from there, I'm sliding in, being aware of where my hands are. Alright, so I'll take myself even further out, I can still slide in, yeah? Still sliding. But my hands maintain this position, which is really important. Always remember, when we kick, try not to do this, right? Try not to do that. Keep your hands here, so that when they block it, they counter it, your hands are in a fairly good defensive position. So that was just a little tutorial on side kick. Practice it off the leading leg, and just drill it until you get a little bit tired, or 3-4 minutes, or 50 reps, whatever you want, just so you understand it, you feel it. It should be quite sore. Perfect. And then you can move on to the back leg. Okay, so the back leg, I'll give you a little bit, but not too much detail, just that I want you to work on the lead leg first of all. Coming through from the back, so we'll change stance just so you can see this. So I'll take my right leg back. Now, what we would do is bring the knees very close together like you're doing a front kick. And we haven't come on front kick, but you know what, a chuggy or a front kick, we should be able to do that as a beginner quite easy. You do that in the class all the time. Imagine it's exactly like that, okay? However, that's the line I take, my knee rotates round, back to where we were at the beginning, and I side kick it. It's as simple as that, it's not that complicated. I bring the knee around, my standing foot pivots 75 degree, or it just pivots and faces the other direction. Don't want to talk about degrees, angles, all that, doesn't matter. Make sure your standing foot, toes are away from you. As you bring the foot up around, this rotates, okay, my ball of my foot is pivoted and away, like so. Right. Now, not that easy to do from the rear leg, it takes a lot more time. The leading leg is the fastest point between A and B, okay, more powerful from the back leg, but it's longest distance to travel. However, it will be more powerful end result. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong, whereas we're side facing, we're going through to a full facing position, another side facing position. So there's lots of things that can go wrong on the way round. So remember, this reduces that risk, reduces it greatly. Yeah. Hope you can understand my Scottish accent. So here and out, here and out. I'm keeping side on, guards here, I can still fight, easy. Not too many problems there. Bring it from the back leg, lots of things can go wrong because I'm changing my guard and block as well. A lot of the times fighters just don't get the timing right and run into a side kick. But for training purposes and just for basics, bring the knees up close together, rotate your standing foot to the opposite direction, keep the sword edge, alright, and side kick through. So, leading leg and the rear leg, keeping the hands in the guard and block position. Thanks for joining everyone, and I hope to see you again soon. Back on.